It's girl talk.
Why do you have to lie about that?
Is this true?
With you and my sister, none other than TT Torrez, right here. iPower 92.1. The Lodge.
All right, if you're just tuning in, everybody, as promised, I got Tami Roman from Basketball Wives. I can't wait. Bring her up. Get this music going. The reunion show, the season finale, all of that went down. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
What's up, girlie?
Nothing much, girl.
So, the season finale and, of course, the reunion show aired.
Yes, a lot going on. And let me tell you, this is the first interview that I've done since those things have aired.
Well, can we drop a bomb to that? Ew.
All right now.
I love it. Thanks for the exclusivity. We love it here on the show. First of all, let me just say, on a reunion show, honey, that face was beat. You look better than all them broads on the show.
Thank you so much. You know, when they asked me to come to the reunion, originally I wasn't going to do it. I was just like, I'm so over Basketball Wives. You know, I'm not coming. And then I said, you know what? No, let me just show them how I really get down. You know, I pulled my whole crew together and said, okay, this is what we got to do. Show and prove.
Yeah, so you was going to stun on them hoes.
Yes. Yes.
And you look good, too. Did you lose some weight? Or was that the outcome of the smart lipo that you got on the show?
Well, I had the smart lipo on my thighs. And once you have any type of cosmetic surgery, you can't just, run rampant. You have to stay on top of it. So I have been, I'm not going to say I've been working out, religiously, but I've been doing, light workouts and eating right. And so that was basically the outcome from Smart Lipo and doing the right thing.
Well, during the season of Basketball Wives, Tami, they kind of made you look like you wasn't really a part of the crew in terms of, looking like them and dressing like them, because you wasn't rocking the Christian Louboutins and you wasn't carrying the $1,000 Gucci bags and whatnot.
Well, I mean, I think that everybody, comes from a different place. I've always been a very humble person. That's how my mother raised me to be. Even when I was married to Kenny, I was just still me. I wasn't always, rocking red bottoms or, doing all of that stuff. I still went to like Annie Says. It's like I'm gonna, buy what I like, not because it's trendy, not because it costs $2,000 or whatever, trying to play high post. I've just always been a very simple person. So for me, I wasn't gonna change that and try to be something that I wasn't, and I've always stayed true to that. Even when I, do interviews now, it's like people are always like, why didn't you try to, dress like them or be like them? And it's like, because that's really not me. And I'm not going to come on a show and be something that I'm not.
You proved to them. Now, if you wanted to turn it up a notch, then this is what it is, on a reunion show, because you definitely put it on.
Yes, I tried to, but at the same time, my dress was from Strawberries. Yes, my dress was from Strawberries. I thought it was cute. And, it proved that it's not how much you pay for it, but how you wear it and how you present it.
I love it. All right, look, let's go into a quick break. Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Tami Roman from Basketball Wives.
It's girl talk.
Why do you have to lie about that?
Is this true?
With you and my sister, none other than TT Torrez, right here. iPower 92.1. The Lodge.
Yep, it's Girl Talk and iPower 92.1 Interactive Hip Hop and R&B. If you're just tuning in, I am TT Torrez, and we're Girl Talking with Tami Roman from Basketball Wives. Have you spoken to any other girls since the reunion show and the season finale?
I think I've talked to Shawnee via text.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when the whole Evelyn said she wasn't coming back on the show, and she said, no, I think that she really doesn't want to come back. So that was via text. And I actually spoke to Jennifer on the phone, but it was really all about, was I planning on coming back for season 3? And, the conversations are short. But, you know, it's everybody's looking out for themselves. And the bottom line is Basketball Wives is what these girls are, you know, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, but it's what they're known for right now. Mm-hmm. And so if Basketball Wives doesn't continue, I don't know what else they have to fall back on. You know.
So are you coming back?
Well, that's still kind of up in the air. All of last season, they really kind of put things together in a way that made me look crazy. Uh-huh. And I'm not saying that the thing didn't happen. Uh-huh. Because, yes, I did go off at a charity event, and, yes, I did argue with Evelyn in Spain. But there were things before those moments and things after those moments that people didn't see. So it always kind of just looked like I was coming out the side of my neck, you know, just going off on people. And so I felt like, for me, that was a misrepresentation to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I just don't know if I really want to be involved with that level of drama unnecessarily. Like, if I don't have to, you know. Right. So either I need to be able to bring something to the table that's some real stuff that's going on in my life and that people may be experiencing in their lives, that they could learn from me or look at me and at least say, well, hey, I ain't the only one going through it. You know, I have to be able to bring something. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is there something that I have to offer outside of the drama that they're going to bring into my life?
Mm-hmm. What is the reasoning for Evelyn not wanting to come back? Is it because of the whole Kenny Anderson thing and her hooking up with Ocho Cinco on the first date?
You know, I really don't know because I haven't spoken to Evelyn since then. What I've heard is that she kind of felt she was taken advantage of by the producers of the show by exposing, you know, personal business. But from my standpoint, the way I looked at it was like, I'm sitting outside, I'm minding my own business. Right. I'm not bothering nobody, having my cigarette, you know. And what people didn't see is the moment before that whole altercation between Evelyn and I, Shawnee actually came outside to me and said, you know, I feel so bad because people aren't being honest. People, you know, there's some fake stuff going on, and, you know, it really, you know, I'm really upset by it. And I said, well, what's going on? You know, something with Evelyn? And she goes, well, you know, I don't want to be the one to say, you know, I just want, you know, you to know that things aren't really what they seem. And so I said, okay, well, go get Evelyn and have her come out here and tell me what's going on. Now, that, you know, now I'm going to bring you back to the show. That's what you guys missed from seeing me smoking to seeing Shawnee say, you should go outside and tell Tami, to Evelyn coming out to me. That whole bit was missing. So people were asking me, why did you already look mad? You know,
right?
Like, because there was a whole moment that played before that.
Right.
And, you know, in my mind, in all honesty, I thought that Evelyn was going to come out and tell me, you know, that she really didn't like me. You know, that, you know, like, because I had just given this whole speech about how I felt about them, and I thought she was going to say, well, you know, I don't want to be fake, you know, I feel like we really haven't developed a friendship, or, you know, something along the lines of that. When she came out and said what she said about Kenny, that I had no idea. Yeah. I was really like, what?
Well, Jennifer admitted that she knew about the situation that happened back in 1999 with Evelyn. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Shawnee knew as well before that night?
You know, I don't know. As far, you know, I only know what people tell me. And as far as what Shawnee said, she said she didn't know before that night. So I don't know.
Because you and Shawnee were friends back in the day, though, right? Like neighbors and stuff like that?
Shawnee and I were neighbors. We were cool. And that, if she knew that, you know, that would have really, you know, hurt me even more.
So let's be clear, Tami. It wasn't the fact that Evelyn slept with Kenny that pissed you off. It was the fact that she didn't tell you, correct?
Right. It definitely wasn't about her sleeping with Kenny. My standpoint on that is there have been a lot of incidences of infidelity, which finally pushed me to file for divorce in 1999. So it wasn't the fact that she slept with him. Mm-hmm. What I was concerned about was that my coming on to this show, I don't know you. I don't know anything about you.
Right.
You know something about me, which is you were involved with my ex-husband. Okay. So before we tried to develop a friendship or be cool and hanging out and all this other stuff, I felt like she should have just pulled me to the side and told me that. Like her argument was, when is the right time to say that? And my argument on that is, well, you say you real, right? I would have pulled you to the side and said, yo, dig this. I'm just going to keep it real with you because, you know, I like you. We're starting to be cool. You know, I think we could be friends, but I want to be completely honest. This is what happened. Woo, woo, woo.
Now, did you really honestly believe her when she said that she didn't know that you and Kenny were married?
I have to say no.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know many people, you know, that didn't know.
Right. So had she been upfront with you from jump, would you have still been cool with her? Everybody were talking to Tami Roman from Basketball Wives.
I'm not going to say friends because I don't use that word lightly. If a man is involved with somebody in any capacity,
yeah,
then you need to allow him and to be in that relationship and be accountable to it. I probably would not have been as cool with her as it became.
No, I feel you. Because at the end of the day, for me personally speaking, I don't want girl code.
That's what it should be. And, you know, there were a lot of people out there on Twitter saying, well, that's what you did to Spinderella. Let me be clear on this right now.
Okay.
Kenny and Spinderella were involved before I even knew Kenny Anderson existed. By the time I met him, they were already out of their relationship and had a daughter who was 18 months old. They were living separately, not in a relationship, not together. And when Kenny and I got together, Spinderella knew about it.
And there you have it. Look, Tami, I got to go into a quick break. Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Tami Roman from Basketball Wives. We'll be back at Side Power 92.1.
It's girl talk.
Why do you have to lie about that?
Is this true?
With you and my sister, none other than TT Torrez, right here. iPower 92.1. The Lodge.
Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Tami Roman from Basketball Wives. Let's talk about the reunion show. We saw Royce checking a lot of them chicks on a show, and I wasn't mad at her for that. Did you like the way the reunion show went down?
You know, my whole thing with the reunion was, I felt that people saw a lot of me, you know, going off on people and cursing people out and acting crazy. And I'm not going to say that I don't have that side, because I do. That, you know, I think every woman has a little bit of that in her. But that wasn't all that there was to me. So my whole thing with the reunion was to come and show people that I am educated, I am articulate, I don't have to curse you out to get my point across. You know, I wanted them to see the other side of Tami. Now, from other people's standpoint, a lot of people will do what they have to do to keep it entertaining, keep it drama-filled, keep their checks coming. Mm-hmm. My checks come from another source. I work every single day. So if they don't like what I'm giving them on the show and they don't want me there because I'm not giving drama, I don't have to be there.
Now, are your corporate colleagues, are they fans of the show?
I do have a lot of people who watch the show and they're like, oh my goodness, we didn't know.
Well, there's a time and a place for everything, you know?
Yes, there is.
So there was a rumor out there that you, well, I don't know about you, but some of the girls on the show get paid $7,500 per episode. Is that true?
I don't know what they get paid because they don't disclose everybody's, so I don't know what they get paid.
So at the reunion show, we saw that you wasn't too pleased with Susie. Are you guys cool now?
You know, I don't know because I really don't. Susie's not really. Let me try to figure out how to say this. Susie's not really important to me.
She's a non-MF factor.
Yeah. Quote Evelyn. Yes, if you could do such a thing. But yes, she is not important to me. You know, I really like Royce. I came to like her as a person. I think she's a sweetheart. You know, I do like the girl Ashley. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sorry I messed up her little fundraiser.
But let me tell you what I see about Ashley. Not to cut you off. I see a little craziness in her eye. Like she will burn somebody's house down. So just be careful.
You know what? I don't know. Hey, she's from Louisiana. You know, anything's possible. She might be able to set it off with the little voodoo doll.
Yo, those eyes got a glaze in them. Like, I don't know about that.
She's a sweetheart. You know, in as far as the conversations that I've had with her, she's very sweet, very nice girl. I like her. You know, I'm always going to be cool with Shawnee because I understand what it is for Shawnee. Outside of her being, you know, cool with all of us, she's the executive producer. This is business in terms of Basketball Wives, the show.
I get it. But do you think, honestly, Tami, that Shawnee is kind of pimping you guys for a check?
Everybody knows what reality TV is now, today. It's not the days of Real World where you didn't know what you were getting into. Mm-hmm. So if you decide to do a reality show, you have to expect that there's going to be the drama. I mean, that's what these shows are built on. That's their formula. Mm-hmm. So to say that she's pimping us, no. Mm-hmm. I think that anybody that does the show knows what they're getting into and has to be prepared for that. And she's just reaping the benefit.
Do you think that Basketball Wives was the cause of Jennifer and Eric's marriage falling apart?
I don't know if their relationship could have or possibly was past the point of repair. Nobody will ever know that because, you know, from the first time we were introduced to their relationship, all we heard was there were problems. But I do believe in my heart that there was a point in time that Jennifer was in love with this man and he was in love with her.
So Tami, what's next for you? Everybody, we're talking to Tami Roman. I know the last time we spoke on a radio show, you said that you had a book coming out.
Actually, you know, we finally given the book a title, and it's called The Bitch Chronicles. But bitch is an acronym, which stands for believing in total and complete honesty, because I feel that that is representative of me. And with the book in particular, that's what I'm going to give everybody from, you know, childhood to, you know, now. And I think that when people read my story, they will really understand a lot about me and who I am as a person when they see all of the things that I've actually gone through and come out on the other side, still standing to be able to talk about it today. And I'm actually working on a pilot for USA, and we're praying that the pilot gets picked up. You know, we finish shooting next week on the 23rd, and then we play the waiting game
right.
to see if it gets picked up.
Right.
But, you know, I'm really hoping for that.
Is it a reality? Is it a reality pilot or
no? This is a scripted. My background is scripted. Mm-hmm. The only reality show I've ever done before Basketball Wives was Real World, and it took me 14 years
wow.
to do another one, you know, because I really wanted to separate myself from reality TV and really be considered an actor, wow. you know. So I've only done scripted programming. So that's another reason why I haven't officially signed on to Basketball Wives, because if this pilot comes through, I don't feel a need to do that. You know, I'm just, you know, still working and still being mom and, you know, still being a good mate to my life partner. And, you know, just loving the space that I'm in right now.
So who is
ready to? I'm not telling you, TT. Don't be even asking me.
Well, you said life partner. Well, is it? Can you at least confirm if it's a man?
It's a man. It's a man.
Life partners take on a lot of meanings, girl.
This is true. I guess that did sound a little suspect. No, it's a man. Kenny done turned me to women. No, it's a man, and he is phenomenal with my children and with me, and he keeps me in line.
I know that's right.
When I'm about to go crazy, and he's just a great support factor. And we've been together almost 4 years now.
Good. I'm glad to see that you're turning this thing into something that can benefit you.
Yes.
Good. So I know we will be in touch with each other. I definitely want to get you back on, especially when the Bitch Chronicles come out and everything else that you have going on.
Yes. I love you, so I will be there whenever you call.
Thank you. I love you back, girl, and I'm definitely cheering for you. And if you come back to Basketball Wives, we will be watching for you.
Okay. I'll keep you posted.
All right, girl. Thank you for checking in. Have a good day.
All right, you too, Mama.
All right, bye-bye. Give a round of applause for Tami. Tami Roman from Basketball Wives. Coming up in about 3 minutes, I could be calling you, giving you a pair of tickets to check out Kevin Hart. If you got qualified, stay close to your telephone. It's FL 921.